Halloween was a day that I thought no one cared about in college until I saw for myself where in fact Halloween is one of the biggest days of the year. So a couple years ago I decided to buy a Halloween costume and it was a cop outfit and it looked real. I'm talking about badges, handcuffs, and my favorite part was the gun. Now granted it came orange in the pack, but I wanted authenticity, so I took the liberty of going to a store, buying a spray can and spray painting it black. So anytime I walked out I felt like the authority. Freeze! So class finally ends that day and I go over to my friend Tara and Megan's house for a Halloween party. And they all quickly fall in love with my now black spray painted gun. They were so in love with the gun, it was almost as if Michael Jackson was in the room. I mean, they'd always be like, ooh. So after they spend hours playing with the gun, we finally are able to go out. And I will say this, that was probably one of the most fun nights I've ever had in Gainesville. I mean, some of these guys, now keep in mind, they're like my age, were treating me like the law. I mean, heck, when you're 6'6" and like 230, I would assume you're the law too. But it was a blast nonetheless. I got to skip the line, got a whole bunch of free shots that night, high-fived a whole bunch of people I didn't know, and it was just an overall great time. Boy, oh boy, was I drunk. And you wouldn't believe this, so as soon as I walk out, there's like 3 police cars. So in my head, I'm like, yes, this is my time. But instead, Megan, Tara, and I just went in the Uber and went home. So the next day, I somehow just happened to wake up in my bed. Don't know how, don't know why, didn't really care. But hey, nonetheless, I was here. But once I got up to start the day, I had the worst headache. It felt like death. So I'm looking around. My room isn't really a mess, but then I realized something. The gun is gone. I'm looking here, looking there, looking everywhere. It's not there. So I called Tara. So I'm like, hey, I'm missing my gun. Have you seen it? Did I leave it at your place? And sure enough, I did. So then she told me, yeah, we'll just have it here. Just come get it whenever. So I'm like, cool, I'll just get it the next time I come to the apartment. And I must say, that gun became their best friend. They were flexing it everywhere on Snapchat, on Instagram, you name it. So a week goes by and then I go back to their house and I'm like, okay, you guys have the gun? No, we lost it. So I'm like, okay, no big deal, big whoop. And then we just continue with the rest of our night. So I go back home later that night and I'm on my phone and you wouldn't believe it. They're flexing the gun when they said they lost it. Yeah, they're flexing it on Instagram again. They're flexing it on Snapchat again. Like, they're flexing it everywhere. So now this has turned into a bigger deal because A, you could have given me the gun and we would not have had a problem. And B, you're flexing it, lying about losing it. So now I'm like, okay, now you guys done made me mad. Because if there is one thing I hate more than anything else, it's being lied to. So I go back there again, asking them, okay, where do you have the gun? And sure enough, they would just smile and just smirk about it, not like they don't have it. And let me say this, they had the gun for about a good year. I mean, they had it so long, it was almost like I was borrowing it back. So now I gotta go in law and order mode on them because they made it a bigger deal than it was. So I come up with a whole game plan and I'm like, if there's one thing girls do not like, it's when dudes hold on to their stuff. That's it. So this is like a year or so later, and it's like semi-formal, and I got invited to go with him. And so what I decided to do is take this bracelet that Meg was like in love with, and I said, nah, I'm gonna hold on to it. Then she goes, Clifford, stop it. Give me my bracelet back. And I go, sure, I'll give you your bracelet back, but give me my gun back. And I knew how much she loved that bracelet, so I knew I was getting my gun back that night. So sure enough, she goes in the back, and it's under some sort of beanbag. And I got my gun back. Got the gun back, and finally, I could return to police duty. Freeze! Nah, I'm just kidding. But what actually happened was, anytime I would go back to their house, they would always FaceTime me and ask me, Clifford, you need to bring the gun back. And I would just be like, click. But I actually learned quite a lot during that small ordeal. Never leave, even if it has the smallest % of value to you, anything to your friend's house, because she will take it, flex it with her friends, and 9 times out of 10, you're not getting it back.